So the recording has started, and we are ready to introduce Theodora. It's a huge honor for me to introduce you, Theodora, today to the Belta webinar, the TOBELTA, Toronto and Belta, because I really admire you as an educator and as a person. And I am very honored to introduce you today. So I'll tell you a few things about Theodora. Theodora Papapanagiotou is a teacher of EFL and DAF. It's German as a foreign language, Deutsch als Fremdsprache in Greece since 1992. She has worked in various language schools in her hometown Thessaloniki, which is in the north of Greece, and with various levels and ages. In the past few years, she has been working as a freelance teacher and taking part in conventions, webinars, and online courses, trying to become a better teacher like all of us. Currently working as an educational consultant at Hyphen SA, she is the author of Keep On Teaching, and she also blogs for ITDI. You can find Theodora everywhere on social media, and her Twitter handle is @DoraPap72. I will also write it in the chat box. Theodora, it's a huge honor to have you here today. Thank you very much, and over to you, Theodora.
It's a huge honor to be here today and also to have, because I think you're one of the best teachers in the world, not only in your country and here. But anyway, I admire Vicky very much. It is really strange to be here alone, actually, because I was supposed to present with Christina Horianopoulou. But due to health reasons, she won't be able to be with us today. So I wish her a speedy recovery, and I hope she will be able to present her part of the presentation soon, very soon. So I don't have anything to tell you about me because Vicky has told everything, has said everything. Today I'm going to talk today we're going to talk about exams, but as I said before, I'm not talking about taking exams and the traditional way of exam preparing. I'm going to give you a lot of examples what I do with my students, and these examples are not very high tech because some of them go way back, and I will give you a lot of links from my blog with the work of my students. So let me begin. So could you please tell me why we learn a foreign language? Can you write on the chat? Angela says to communicate, express ourselves. Teresa, communicating in a foreign language feels like having magical powers. Yes, sometimes it does. To get a better job, to understand other cultures, to be able to communicate with people. So yeah, because you like languages too, that's nice. And to get more knowledge. Thank you so much. Learn about other cultures, their music. Sally, yes, you're right. Some people do learn language to understand the songs they are listening to. Um, uh, so we learn a foreign language, of course, to meet new people. We learn a new language because it's fun learning. That's what I do. To be more open-minded, to get to know new cultures. It's a great addition for our CV if we know a foreign language. We also, when we also learn a foreign language, we increase our brain power. We train our brain, like when we train our muscles at the gym. It's the same thing when we learn something new with the brain. It also builds, develops our confidence. It creates empathy and friendliness to people from other countries, so we understand their cultures better and we can communicate better. And we are also able to travel when we know a foreign language. So this was the fun part, the learning part. Why do we take exams? Can you tell me? To check the progress. Yes, Mariana, you're correct. Because we have to, yes, to prove our knowledge. We want a certificate. I'll get back to that, Effie. Yes, certificate, formal kind of proof. Because we are told, yes, that's the main reason why we take the exams. Because what others do. So, an exam. Thank you for your answers. Yes, it's a requirement, Judy. So we take exams because it's a kind of an indication how much about how much has been learned in the schools, because the school system is like that, and because we are told to take exams or to give tests to our students, and exams are considered like a proof of mastery in the subject, but they also can improve memory. So maybe it's a good thing that we have exams. They also show how much material has been covered. It's a comprehensive assessment of knowledge and skills, and it's also an evaluation of the student. And we take exams because we have to, as you said. This is not really pleasant. It's not a pleasant subject for me, exams. So why do we need a certification? Nobody likes them, Mariana. Why do we need a certification? As proof to apply for jobs, universities, yes, for a visa, for employment, correct. For professional development, maybe, yes. You guys are great. We want to gain status, entry to a new community. Yes, Teresa. You are right. You are correct. I was going to tell all of these things and maybe you said more. So we need the certification, first of all, because we want to get a job, or to study abroad, or to find a job abroad, or for a postgraduate degree. The problem is that in my country, in Greece, certificates are everywhere, and language exams are everywhere. And I think that there are about 50, 60 kinds of language exams, and everybody has to get the certificate. And everybody has to get a certificate at a very young age. I mean, there are children at the age of 14 who are taking C2 level exams in the Common European Framework, C2, like CPE or ECPE, the Michigan exam. And the problem is that not only the parents want this, but the teachers are like this as well. So a student comes to you and they don't say, I want to learn English, for example, or I want to learn German or whatever language. They say, I want to get the proficiency certificate. That's the B2, the C2, I'm sorry. And to tell you the truth, in my opinion, if you, yes, Mariana, C2 at 13 and 14. The thing is that if you get the certificate, a C2 level or a B2 level certificate at a very young age, the problem is that you forget everything. That when you will need it for a future job or for studies abroad, you won't be able to use it because the years have passed. And what they do here in Greece is to get the certificates and the papers and put them up on the wall like wallpaper, and they say I have the certificate, and they don't know the language. So I guess that in my country, in Greece, all our teaching is exam oriented, certificate oriented to be more exact. But I am going to show you today how I work with my students in order to have fun while preparing, and also I try to cultivate other skills, not only the ones they need for exams like reading and listening and answering multiple choice questions and stuff like that. So, uh, in the last years, I have been working on a specific certificate with my students, especially with weaker students whose mothers want to get the certificate really fast. It's from an Irish organization. I don't know if I can say names here. I can, if I can name the exam. But anyway, it was a real pleasure for me to do this because I found the chance to work on some other skills, like making brochures with my students. And I think that this is something that they will need in their future jobs as well, because half of the population in Greece works at the tourist industry. So making a brochure, so the exam is about an investigation, so we made brochures about archaeological places, about islands, about places that somebody can visit. So making a brochure gives them the chance to express themselves, write about places, describe places, and also we also have speaking role plays. Somebody is the tourist and somebody gives the information, and we have role plays, so we also cultivate their speaking skills as well. And I am going to give you some links about that so that you can see the work of my students. Somebody has written something about Amphipolis, which is considered to be the tomb of Alexander the Great, or somebody from his family was there, and it was a huge huge story in the newspapers last year. And let me go further. And islands are really popular. Um, so one of my students has written a brochure about the island of Lefkas, and I have one. I'm trying to find the links over here. That's why I'm doing this. And somebody else has also written about Santorini. I can't find it right now, but I think that you got the idea what we are doing. And I think it's great because first of all, I make the students research on the internet, in magazines and in newspapers, and they correct themselves when they write the brochures, because this conference is about assessment, and I have to talk about assessment as well. So the autocorrect on the word is a huge blessing for me, because they see their mistakes and they look it up, and they look them up on the dictionary, and they correct themselves actually, and because they don't want to give a brochure full of mistakes. And they also, doing this, they also make a portfolio with their work. Except for this, we also did some stories about urban legends. This is a haunted house a supposedly haunted house here in Thessaloniki, and my student has written an article about it. She has done this in Greek for her school, and she also wrote this for my blog. And I think that this is a great idea when you want to work on writing skills and describing things. Again, the assessment has been made by her friends and schoolmates because they all read the blog and told her what they liked, what they didn't like, what words, what vocabulary she should have used. So I think it was a great idea for peer assessment and self-assessment as well. Um, and also what we also did, but I don't have pictures for this, we made posters with places from our city, and um, and then they had a presentation to their parents, and they described things like where to go and what to see in our city. And their parents were really proud of them because their kids were actually talking in English. I think that this is a great opportunity for them to practice in their speaking for their exams, because something like that in the specific exam might come up, and they are ready to answer to any kind of question. Okay, and this was really nice for them, a nice activity for them. They liked it as well. Another thing that I do with my students, yes, isn't it great, Vicky, Charlotte Brontë, Jane Eyre. Another thing that I do with my students when preparing for exams, because a lot of exams have a book reading, I make them, I don't make them, I give them as homework to read the books and to describe what they have read. And this can be done at a very low level. I think I have here something in, wait a minute, I will find it. In A1 level, it's not much actually, but it's not about Jane Eyre, it's something else. But I had a student who was in A1 level, about 10 years old or something. She read the book in Greek, and then she wrote in a really small paragraph in 3 lines what she thought about the book. And this was great again because she had shown this to all of her friends at school, and they too loved reading the blog. And also she tried to be, her English tried to be really corrected by herself, so that everybody could see that she can speak English. I have some more examples on books over here, and I will show you right now. I have one in B1 level about Anne Frank. Um, you can read. Did it? Is it there? I don't know if it. Can you see the link? The second link. Am I okay? Can you hear me? Because something stopped in here. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Um, can you hear me? No, you can't. Can you? Yes, I paused. Anavio, hello? 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 Okay, now, so you won't be able to see me, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So I was telling you about a student of mine who wrote something. She was in B1 level. She wrote something about the diary of Anne Frank. I can paste the link again. I don't know if you got this. Thank you, Judy. And then I wanted to do something with their speaking, so I made them. I didn't make them. I told them that they had as a homework to prepare something, and we would make a video about it. And I'm sending you a couple of videos of my students. They are in C1, C2 level. The one is talking about the book called The Perfume, and the other one is talking about Jane Eyre. That's why I have this cover, Jane Eyre. So I'm giving you a minute so that you can watch the videos. They are about 40 seconds each. And just tell me what you think. Tell me when you're ready. Is everybody else ready? Well, these girls are in C1, C2 level. They were going to take the CPE exam in about a month or something from the videos. And I thought it would be a nice idea because we also cultivated their presentation skills. So, actually, Yuna, the one girl that you are seeing, can speak 5 languages. So she's really great, and she's studying in Germany right now. Well, yes, 5. She's a genius kid, I guess. I'm really proud of my students, actually. And also, they could also, I was saying that it would be great for presentation because when you study, when you have to present things for your studies, or when you go to work, you also need good presentation skills to your clients. So the thing was that I told them things that you are selling the book. So tell people what you liked, and that's how they will go and read the book. I also have one more that it is based on a book. It's about Harry Potter. It's B2 level, and it's actually about the book and the movie. And Helen here did watch the movie, and she also read the book, and she wrote this for my blog. Again, I have to say that this is a great assessment for the kids, for my students, because they can have the other people's opinion, not only about their grammar mistakes, but about what they have written, and if it's good, if their friends or the people who read it liked it or didn't like it. So I think it's a really nice peer assessment, in my opinion, and really useful for the exams as well, because they learn how to write, to describe, but they do it in a non-exam oriented way. Moving on, this is part of the blog of Helen. And I also have one from about Great Expectation. This was actually his exam preparation. He put this, this is from John, he put this in his reading portfolio for the exam, because they have to make a portfolio. And I think that he did a really great job, because he was supposed to be in level B1, and in the end he ended up to get a B2 level certificate, and I'm really proud of John. So moving on, I think I have time, don't I? Another thing that you could do to not only to prepare for writing for exams, but also make students speak, also cultivate their speaking skills, is have a movie night. And these are the girls I showed you before on the video. You can have this at your school. At the time I was working as a freelance, so I had everybody at my home. We made a movie night. It was summer, as you can see, there is a lot of ice cream, and we watched a movie. It was Burn Identity, I think. And I'm going to give you the links from my blog, so that you can see what happened. They saw the movie, but it was not only about the movie. It was actually a colleague's idea, Greg Werlock's, and they had to answer, after the movie, they had to answer to some questions and write a story with these questions. And I'm going to read to you the questions right now. So the first one: a man is found in the sea alive, but he has been shot twice. What happened? So they have to write what happened. Again, the imagination works. And the second question is: imagine that you are that person. Create your own identity. What objects would you put into your own safety deposit box in the bank, so that you can identify yourself? So the idea was for the girls to write. You have the link there on my blog, and then they got each other's papers and they corrected themselves. So it's a great example of peer assessment as well. So in order to do this, you have to choose the right movie, of course, and then choose the right questions, and get the right snacks. We got ice cream, and be relaxed. You have a relaxed atmosphere, and also have the writing prompts and the questions ready for them to answer during the movie. They assessed each other, they corrected each other both in the grammar mistakes and the vocabulary. I think that it was a really nice session. And then we also acted it out. So one person was the short person with the amnesia, and the others were the passers-by, and it was a really nice evening, I guess. They improvised, and this improvisation gives them the chance to be able to improvise during their exams, because you never know what questions you will get, in my opinion. They also cultivated their social intelligence because they worked together, their adaptive thinking because they found solutions, and we had a nice discussion afterwards. Um, so, again, something else that I would like to show you. The other idea of learning vocabulary for exams, because we have in Greece a certain exam, ECPE, that you need to learn a lot of vocabulary. And it's really disturbing for some students to get great lists of vocabulary and learn them by heart, and sometimes they have to memorize pages every day. So I thought of something that would make them feel more comfortable with the words. So they had to make poems using the words that they have learned. I know that this takes a lot of time, but believe me, it's worth it, because if you make it a poem, then you remember the word and the meaning more easily. So what we did was write haikus, and you all know what a haiku is. So we had a word, a really difficult word, and we had to write this kind of poem. A haiku consists of 3 lines. The first line contains 5 syllables, the second line 7 syllables, and the third line consists of 5 syllables again. And everybody has to follow this format. But the catch is that through the haiku, somebody who reads it has to understand the word, so what the word means. And this made it more difficult and more fun, I guess, and more challenging to the students. Another idea of a poem is a senken. Are you all familiar with the term? Well, it's like a haiku, more or less. So in the first syllable, it's a French word. In the first syllable, you have one word, the title. It has to be a noun. Then in the second line, you have 4 syllables, 2 words that describe the title, adjectives usually. And then in line 3, 6 syllables, 3 words that express action, verbs ending in ing. And in line 4, 8 syllables, 4 words that express feeling or describe more. And line 5, 2 syllables, 1 word that gives the title a different name, a synonym. So it's a great idea. I saw that this Senken creation in a seminar back in Athens a couple of years ago, I think, and I immediately loved it. I thought it was a great opportunity for my students to learn vocabulary. And I'm going to show you some examples of this. This is a haiku. My student Helen has written this, and the other one I will show you later. Symmetries around, though hardly ever noticed, beauty and balance. So I think it's a nice nice way to describe symmetry. And I am lucky to say that I had Helen with me at the office in the company I work at, the organization I work this summer as an intern, and she helped me a lot with the lessons creation. This is really great, writing everything, not only poems, but also lesson plans and research. It did a lot of research. Anyway, back to the poems. I had to say that because I'm really proud of my students. And another example, I don't know if you can see it, is an example of Senken, 2 Senkens actually. And let me read them to you. Bluntness, lack of movement, such an imposing dullness, and tedious monotony, boring. So, was the first one, and the other one was about darkness. Um, So I guess you get the idea of what we are doing with the vocabulary. Again, the assessment comes from the here not only the teachers but the students in the classroom, because if they don't understand what she's saying and what the word means, then they give her a bad mark or a bad comment. So peer assessment again. Um, so before I stop, I would like to say that the target is not the exam, but the target is the communication skills. And in my opinion, that's how we should work, and not only with exam books and grammar books and course books and have 20 books to cover in one year. It's really frustrating for both teachers and students. And I wish all your students great results in their exams. And sorry that my presentation was a bit short, but I was supposed to present with Christina, so um, that's why it's a bit shorter than the normal length. If you have any questions or something you would like to say about this, I'm happy to listen.
Theodora, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Okay,
can hear
great.
you.
Thank you so much. This was brilliant, brilliant. I can't wait to try all these ideas. I had no idea, for example, what a syncan is. Today I learned. I'm definitely going after your presentation to look at all your slides and your ideas. Thank you so much, Dora. It was amazing.
Thank you very much. There are a lot of kinds of short poems that you can use. I was
Brilliant.
listening, who was I listening? I don't remember right now. I was listening to an ITTI presentation, and Kevin Stein, and he was talking about tanka writing. It's another Japanese form of poem. So I'm going to try this. We all learn, I guess.
We sure do, and that's the beauty of for Theodora. Please put it in the box if you can see the box right under her slides. Amazing presentation, great ideas. Here you can see all her contact details.
Yes, I forgot to show the last slide, so you can find me over here and on Facebook as well. So you posted
Mariana,
where did you post the question and I can't see it?
I can see it if you want, so that I can read it out to you.
Yeah, if you can.
Marianne,
Yes.
Mariana from Croatia asks, how do parents react to this, and do you show them the students' work? This is a very good question, Mariana.
Well, first of all, I get the permission of the parents to publish things on my blog and pictures and everything. Most of my students are teenagers, and they do publish things on Facebook anyway, but I have to be okay with the parents as well. The problem is that some parents have a really bad reaction for this because, as I told in the beginning, they all want their kids to get the certificate. And I had some really bad reactions and some client cancellations. I mean, they took their kids elsewhere. But to tell you the truth, I don't really care about this because I see that what I do with my students really does work and the kids are happy, and when they're happy they learn more.
Of course, yeah, that's very important. Bravo, Dora, for pointing that out.
So
Does anybody else have a question for Dora?
Thank you, Jane.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, they
Mhm.
do. They
If it,
do get more from this kind of assessment because it's not the teacher assessment, and I believe that the teachers are there to guide and not to and it's our job to show them the world, not to have them learn lists of vocabulary by heart. They don't manage anything by learning lists of vocabulary. Thank you, Effie. Bye, Mariana. Thank you for coming.